Hmm. Hello, my friends, and it's special for me and maybe all of us to gather for this meditation. Thank you for being here. So today I would like to associate meditation with something that perhaps is seldom associated with, but I think that as many of us at times will definitely bring this quality to it, and that is courage. Meditation sometimes needs courage. It's often associated with meditation about being calm, relaxed, unassertive, being quiet, peaceful, and maybe also associated with being um, maybe even kind of docile or something. But sometimes we need to have courage, and sometimes a lot of courage. And certainly it takes a lot of courage in life to sometimes be ethical. Sometimes it takes courage to not give in to expressions of hostility or anger, not give in to strong compulsive desires that we might have. And that can play out in meditation as well, that we take our place and show up to be here in a clear and courageous way, so we don't give in to distractions. We don't give in to the distractions that keep us from recognizing what's really happening here in important ways. That we don't give in to avoid the difficult emotions that we have, but to show up to our grief, our fears, even our angers, to really be honest about them and show up and take our place in the middle of them. Sometimes we talk about sitting in the fire when meditating. So I have behind me a statue of the Buddha the night of his awakening. And his posture that's dignified and upright is a posture that represents taking one's place in a dignified, clear, complete way, that you're allowed to inhabit the place where you're practicing. Like you can be there. You don't have to diminish yourself or apologize for yourself, and to show up. And the part of the symbolic imagery that you see there is that he's touching the earth. He's touching the spot in which he's sitting. And so for you to touch the spot where you're meditating, yes, here you will be, and you'll show up courageously for what's here. And not the kind of courage that makes you agitated, makes you tense, but actually the opposite. Sometimes it takes tremendous courage to be relaxed, be at ease in the fire with the difficulties. Courage to stay in your place, stay present, stay here, not giving in, not collapsing, not running away, but staying here with what is. And sometimes it takes courage to do that, even when things are going really well in meditation, because of the strong desire to enjoy it, to let go into it in a way that we're not really that present. So to take a posture that for you is a posture of relaxed courage, a certain kind of relaxed strength. Yes, this is not a casual thing to sit down to meditate. It's a heroic act in a world where people succumb to greed, hate, and delusion all the time. And to assume a posture that for you allows you to have a heroic stance in showing up here, really showing up here for your experience mindfully with clear awareness. And closing your eyes and feeling that posture. Taking a deep breath, relaxing but not giving away your strength, your courage, your clarity of purpose that here you will be. As you exhale, relaxing around that clarity of purpose, that yes to being here in the fire, in the winds, whatever you have here, the earthquakes, just sitting here, not in contention with anything, and not in favor of anything. With an impartiality to pleasure and pain, to success and failure. Just here. And every breath is propelling you through the ocean of here, bringing you back here, now. And if it makes sense for you, to have the courage for an ongoing relaxed awareness of breathing, of your experience, of meditating in the middle of your place here with whatever's happening, staying present, awake, clear, courageous to do so. And then as we come to the end of this sitting, to consider that in a world where there's so much hatred, animosity, divisiveness, greed, it takes courage to be compassionate, to be generous, to be kind, to be honest. It takes courage to stand in the midst of injustice and name it as injustice. How is it, or in what way might the courage to meditate translate or be applied to the courage to live in our life in a fuller, clear, honest way? And to have the courage to be kind, friendly, generous, to have the courage to wish people well, to want the best for them, knowing that the best, the very best, is to live without any greed, hatred, and delusion. That's where happiness is found. So even to your enemies, you can wish them well, sincerely, and maybe show up in a way that you express non-hatred, non-greed, non-delusion, the courage to avoid those things. May all beings be the recipient of our non-greed, our non-hatred, our non-delusion, our non-bias and prejudice. May all beings be happy. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be free. And may we live today in such a way that in small or large ways we contribute to that possibility, even if it's just for one other person. May all beings be happy. Thank you. Welcome. This is the second talk on the 5 faculties. And when we translate this word, Pali word indriya, as faculties, we are kind of diminishing or hiding the power of the word indriya, the strength of the word. The faculty just seems like, it's just like a potential that we have, maybe. If we have a faculty, we could use it. The word means of Indra. Indra was, in the time of the Buddha, the head god of the pantheon of gods. And maybe in ancient Greece, you would say like, qualities of Zeus, or in Norway, qualities of Odin, or some great god. And and so these are qualities, and the reason, and then they're qualities that that can take charge, can really guide and help us to take control in a certain kind of way of our life. In American Buddhism, it's controlling ourselves is often seen as not appropriate, but there is a way of, it's very appropriate to show up and really take charge of our practice in a certain way. We have these faculties, we have these capacities that really infuse and enliven and give strength to the practices we do. And there's nothing wrong with doing Buddhist practice strongly, calling upon a capacity for inner strength, maybe even a capacity for inner power. And it's strength and power that can support us to live without hate, without greed, without conceit, without asserting ourselves or wanting to dominate other people or be aggressive. But a power that also keeps us from being weak or succumbing or collapsing or running away. And so this word indriya is a powerful word, as is the word that's usually translated as effort, the second faculty, virya. But virya also is a powerful word, and that effort kind of just domesticates it in some way, or tamps it down, just makes it kind of too ordinary, and doesn't really carry with it how in the Indian context is a word of power, strength. And so in the ancient India and Tibet, this word sometimes is associated with being heroic effort. And for today, I was associating with courageous effort. And there was a time in American Buddhism, when I was growing up in Buddhism, where, when I first started teaching, that chances are I would have been criticized as a man using languages like courage and heroism, because it would seem like too masculine or too something. And certainly there can be problems with it, huge problems with it. But also it's a gift, it's a necessary part of life, is to have a certain degree of heroic effort so that we don't give in to our own personal tendencies to be weak, or to be complacent, or to acquiesce to our attachments and our clinging and our aversions. The courage to not give in to the 5 hindrances. And so this virya, again translated as effort, heroic effort, is the corollary to the second hindrance, which is ill will, hostility, aversion. And the connection between the two, where the bridge or the meeting ground of the two, why they're associated, is that um, uh, ill will has energy in it, has power in it. Anger especially has tremendous power that's kind of bubble up. Sometimes it can feel volcanic, the way that anger is moving through us. And but if anger has ill will with it, then it takes a kind of heroic effort to not give in to that volcano in a way that causes harm. The heroic effort to avoid any causing of harm. That's the heart of what this heroic effort, courageous effort is in Buddhism. Not to cause any harm whatsoever to oneself or to others. And so with the energy of anger, the idea is to to channel that energy. Don't give up the energy of anger, unless it's just over the top. The energy, engagement, the vitality that's there is part of the reason some people like their anger. It makes them feel alive. But if we could take that sense of alive energy and let go of the hostility, but keep the energy of anger, then it's available for heroic effort, powerful, like, yes, let's not yell at anyone. Let's show up. Let's be present and not be hostile with our body, our speech, or our mind. And to do that towards ourselves, not to have any hostility towards ourselves, not to succumb to these forces inside that debilitate us, deprive us, harm ourselves. So to have faith, the first of the 5 faculties, or confidence, sets us on the course of practice. We know something about practice. This is what I want to do. This is important. And the second effort, heroic effort, is like, be serious. Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is not like, with the faith, there's no doubt. With faith, there's clarity, confidence. Yes, I want to do this. It doesn't mean that we are in a hurry, or that we strain, or that we put ourselves in a situation where we're going to be discouraged by that we're not making progress. But an embodied way of saying, yes, I can give myself to these values, this way of living, this approach to life, that I'm going to avoid any causing of harm. And to do that heroically, with courage. And sometimes the forces of distraction that we're practicing with in meditation are themselves a running away. It's a comforting, avoiding of what's really happening here for us. And it's kind of harmful to do that, to avoid and not show up honestly for ourselves. And sometimes meditation practice is sitting in the fire, is showing up for what's very difficult here with us, and learning how to metaphorically stay still, take our seat, be in the middle of it, and not be overcome. Find, in a sense, some inner strength, stillness, inner capacity to stay with what is very difficult rather than getting distracted. And if things become quite peaceful and wonderful in meditation, and it seems like that kind of heroic effort is too much, probably that's true. That effortful heroic effort maybe is no longer needed. Maybe it's still heroic. I've had experiences in meditation where I became very, very peaceful. And coming out of meditation, I had to have courage and a lot of confidence or faith that it was okay to stay peaceful when all the people around me were kind of insisting that I should join them in their anger, join them in their condemning people, joining them in gossiping, joining them in greed and behavior which is not harmonious with this deep, settled feeling of peace. And so it's kind of a heroic thing to say, this is where I'm going to maintain this peaceful inner life and be present for what's happening here, but I'm not going to succumb. I'm not going to give in. I'm not going to give it up. And so so faith is what begins the practice. Confidence, we have confidence this is a way forward. Even if we're going to experiment, even if we're unsure where this Dharma practice goes, but we are willing to give it a try, that's some indication of some degree of confidence. And what follows that then is really kind of, if you're going to do it, do it with some commitment. Do it with some strength. Do it with some courage. Not anything that causes you to be tense. It's the courage to not be tense. The courage to engage in a peaceful way. And as I keep saying, the courage to be non-harming. But to show up with embodied energy, an embodied vitality where we take our place. The Buddha took his place the night of his awakening, and the classic statue that is like behind me, the Buddha, the night of his enlightenment, is touching the very ground upon which he is sitting. In a sense, asserting, this is my place. He doesn't have to give in to his forces of greed, hatred, and delusion that assailed him on the night of his awakening. But he stayed upright, still, courageous, unwilling to give into it, unwilling to collapse, unwilling to run away, but to sit there and be present, really present, here and now. So I hope that this talk on courageous effort has hit the right spot, that it encourages you to be encouraged. The word encouraged has the word courage in it. So it encourages you to have some courage, some strength, give yourself to not necessarily kind of what, the practice in terms of meditating and what you do, but rather the courage of how you are. Certainly practice, but be courageous in how you practice. And in such a way that it helps you to take refuge in your capacity to be peaceful, at peace, and a emissary of peace in this world. So thank you very much, and tomorrow we'll do the faculty of mindfulness, sati.